You have to forgive me. I lost my voice.
Who were you yelling at?
I was instructing loudly. I was communicating across big spaces. Yeah, I wasn't yelling at anybody.
We're really able to see.
Sure, go ahead.
Just on that note, we're really able to see you, like, for the most part, in person doing that, like, pregame, and I mean, you seem to get the guys really fired up. Is that like?
Yeah, they get me fired up. I think every season is different. The personality of every position group year to year changes. They get me fired up, and we kind of have a mindset as we get ready for the game. I'm obviously not playing in the game, but game day is a big deal around here. You know, you work you work 353 days a year for 12 guaranteed opportunities, and it's a big deal. And I really believe that attitude and energy reflects leadership, and our leaders, Max Bredesen and Marlon Klein, and I'm one of the leaders of the room too. So that's just kind of part of our process. But they get me fired up. They get me excited to coach them, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
And then how pleased were you with just the seeming passing game progression coming off the bye week?
Yeah, very pleased. I thought the quarterback played heroic at times. I thought he made good decisions for the majority of the game. How impressive is Andrew Marsh and Ron Bellamy, what they've done. I mean, I love Roy Roundtree, but if there's one man to break his records as a freshman, it'd be Andrew, if I had to vote. How impressive was that? That was awesome to see. Donovan McCulley contributed quite a bit to the pass game, and I think it's really a credit to Coach Moore and Coach Lindsey and the detail that they approached the 2-week, prep for that game. But the credit lies with our kids. I mean, that was awesome. The offensive line, all of it.
On the left, Chris?
Do you still see a bigger role for the tight ends here in the last 2 games potentially?
Yeah, the tight ends have had a huge role, and I get it. I do, because so much of what you guys aren't outsiders. You're here every week, and we appreciate you so much because part of what makes Michigan Michigan is the coverage it receives, for sure. And I get it. You look at a box score or a stat sheet, and it's a production position. So much is relative or relevant to how many catches or targets did we have. We played collectively as a group on offense. We played 5 guys, and I believe they totaled over 130 snaps. So I don't know how our role could get bigger. Obviously, a year ago, we had a guy set the single-season record for catches in a season at the position. So grateful I got to be a part of his journey and be a part of that and witness that. However, this is no knock on any player or staff member that's no longer with us. We were ranked 130th in the country in total offense a year ago. Right now, we're 40. So we've gone up 90 spots, and we're not done. And we're not satisfied with that. But if you asked myself or any one of our tight ends what they would prefer 8-2 and 420 yards a game, 10 out of 10 times. And I get it. You look at the stat sheet, and we've gotten accustomed to here, like the tight end being like up there. They couldn't have a bigger role. They're so critical to our pass protection, our run game. We're playing in 12 personnel on third down, and just not every game and not every year is the same, but we do make an effort to have them critically involved and intimately involved in the pass game. That's a big part of Coach Lindsey's background. Obviously, that's Coach Moore's starting point background. It's a big part of my background. So I don't take your question offensively. Please don't misunderstand me, but like, they are involved. They're critically involved in the pass game. And there's going to be games where it's 6 for 93 or 3 for 38. Or, I think we had 4 catches in the previous game. 2 were for critical third down conversions, I believe, on scoring drives. But I get it. I really do. You look at the box score, and it's easy. It's a production position, and you want to evaluate performance based upon that. It is a huge part of what we do, is running routes and catching the ball. But the most important things we do, to be quite honest, probably aren't that. And that's not to diminish that part of the game. It's a huge part of our game here. It's a huge part of our history. Coming into this season, the tight ends at Michigan, not including 2020, had caught more passes than any team in the country since 2015. So not counting 2020 because it's not the same number of games. That's who we are. It's the core of who we are, but we're about winning, and we're about growth, and that's what we've done as an offense.
It was an amazing answer, and I feel guilty following up, but I'm going to. With Hogan Hansen, where is he, and have you had the conversation about him potentially redshirting?
We keep those types of conversations respectfully internal. He's out there practicing. He's healthy. He looks good. We're excited about him. And certainly his year, if you would have sat me down on August 1st and told me that I would be getting asked that question, I would have laughed. But Hogan has stayed true to the process and has done everything in his power, and our staff has done the same throughout our program for him to be available, excited about where he's at.
Isaiah?
I was also going to ask about Hogan, but where is he at mentally, given that he hasn't been able to be out there as he probably?
Yeah, Hogan Hansen is made of the right stuff. He's I don't know how much time he spent with you guys. I'm sure he's been interviewed at some point. He comes off maybe as like a little reserved. He's extremely thoughtful and analytical. He's a really smart guy. He's one of those few guys that can sit in a meeting room and like a sponge, because not everyone's the same, especially in today's day and age. Some guys really have to go out there and do it, or some guys really have to see the video clip. Hogan's kind of got that uncanny knack where you can explain something to him where he processes verbal information really good. So he stayed super engaged. A credit to the other guys in the room and some of his closest friends, I believe, have helped him remain engaged. Dom Nichols is one of his best friends. They're roommates. Dom's kept him super engaged. Brady Prescorn and him are super tight. Andrew Sprague. So he's got a great nucleus. Like that class of 24, the dudes that are, true sophomores, redshirt freshmen, they're super close and super tight, and they do a great job of kind of keeping each other engaged.
Right here, Ryan.
Do you get a sense that maybe defenses are defending the tight ends a little bit differently this year compared to years past?
I don't know that there's been a total change relative to that, because we saw every defense under the sun a year ago to defend our tight end. I don't know that it's so much that. I think what Coach Lindsey has done such an extraordinary job doing is, and why you've seen so much growth in our offense, is getting the quarterback to take what the defense provides us. And I think sometimes there's an old saying that more can be lost with indecision than wrong decision. The quarterback does a great job of playing point guard and getting the ball out of his hands. And I don't know, I think that's one of those things that week to week we try to gain sense of. I do know this, how defenses react to which tight ends are in the game is different. We've definitely seen a change in that. We play in a personnel match conference. What I mean by that is our defense, most defenses in our league do it. Relative to who you have in the game is who they put in the game. I think it's hard to do that blindly against us because we're playing 5 tight ends right now. I think in the last game, Marlon was right at 40 snaps. Maxey was at 35. Zach Marshall played 23 or 24. Deacon played 19 or 20, and Jalen played 12 snaps. I think it's hard, for them to defend that all the same. So we're seeing more in certain instances. They're treating certain groupings of 12 personnel like it's 11 personnel, if that makes sense. But that's okay with us. That doesn't totally determine how we would attack them. We're comfortable with that.
Do you think that's maybe opened up more opportunities to Marsh and McCullough this year?
I think perhaps. I think so. I think what Coach Moore has really, and he deserves a ton of credit for our growth as an offense as well, because he's really, he's from a broad view, a high, 10,000-foot view of being able to, listen, we need to move our people around the best way possible to ensure that every single play matters in November and that our best players are doing what they're best at, right? So I think Coach Lindsey has taken that messaging or that emphasis from Coach Moore and has applied it. And Coach Bell's been a huge part of that too, making sure the pieces are right and who's running what route. And it's become very specialized, and I think that's why you've seen growth.
In the back, Sam.
Where have you seen Deacon grow the most, and where can he still improve?
Man, I couldn't be any more proud of Deacon Tonelli. He's not done yet. He's not done. He's got ways to go like we all do. where he has grown the most, and it's been so fun to watch, it's not as a player. It's been as the young man. He comes from a great family. He's incredibly family-oriented. And I remember standing here probably 12 months ago, and I think, Isaiah, you asked me about Deacon. It was like the last question I was asked last year. And Deacon is what's right with college football. He has stayed the course here. He has worked to grow and develop on and off the field. I'm so proud of him. It was so awesome to, because like I had to take a step back. Who plays the first play as a position coach? Doesn't matter. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the first play. Well, to the kids, it matters. To the players, it matters. So I think that's something that him and his family will never forget. He started his first college game not but 45 minutes from where he's from. He's from Illinois, a western suburb of Chicago. So I'm so proud of him. As a player where he's grown, there's always been the flashes of ability. It's been consistency and playing full speed all the time. But Deacon Tonelli, sky's the limit for him. Proud to be his coach, proud to be a part of his journey. He's the one that deserves the credit for what he's accomplished.
On the left, Anthony.
You talked earlier how much improved you guys are moving the ball up and down the field.
Yep.
How close do you think you guys are for, maybe not a crooked number, but a point total?
Yeah, so I would tell you, here are the areas we need to grow, and there's 3 of them that are clearly defined. We need to score touchdowns in the red zone, and we're working every day to do that. We need to not turn the ball over, right? We're still in the plus on turnover margin, but we've turned the ball over a handful of times here in the last couple weeks, and then we got to play better when Coach Moore provides us the opportunity to go for it on 4th down. We got to convert more. 3rd down, we've really grown the last 3 weeks. We weren't playing very well on 3rd down. I think now we're in 34th in the country. So the yards are great. We had 496 yards, I believe, against Northwestern on Saturday. That's the most versus a Power 4 opponent since the Fiesta Bowl in 22. The difference is that night they scored 45. So, the yards are great, and they matter. The most important statistic to us, A, is winning, and then B is scoring points. So we're scoring 28 a game right now. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. If this happened, that happened, or the other thing. We are really working and focused on those areas right now. Finishing drives in the red zone with touchdowns, not turning the ball over, and then when provided opportunities on 4th down, converting in those areas.
How much of that would you chalk up to just youth and inexperience?
When you watch our team practice, when you watch the offense practice, you almost have to remind yourself what their age is. If you came to practice today and watched our offense take the field to start a team period, you wouldn't guess that we had youth and inexperience. We've played 10 games. Guys have been here anywhere from June or January. Some guys joined the team in December once the semester ended here. So they've played a lot of snaps. We don't talk about that with the kids because they're just our players, I'm not sure if I wish I could answer that question or have the right answer there. I think it's just, the consistency and intent of every single play and hammering those points home. And it's not every turnover is the same. A fumble's not the same as an interception, and every interception's not the same as every other one, and every fumble's not the same. So some turnovers, you can effort your way out of. You can make sure that you cover the ball, and the harder you play, the better luck you have. Sometimes that's part of it. Ball security, we've been practicing bi-weekly since the beginning of training camp, and we emphasize it all the time. So it's something we're super locked into, something that is a point of emphasis, but we got to continue finishing those drives. And some of those drives we did. Our first touchdown drive against Northwestern, I think, was 12 plays, 91 yards, something like that. So we've shown we do have the capacity to do it. Our second touchdown drive of the season against New Mexico, I think, was 14 plays. So we have shown the ability to, walk the ball down the field. But it's got to be both. It's got to be the big explosive plays because it's nice as a coach when a play ends, when a drive ends in 2 to 3 plays. And I think Coach Lindsey's brought that here, and our players too. Please don't misunderstand me, our players too. But it can be both because we do have the ability to execute it at a high level for a long stretch. And I think that's imperative to playing complementary football, So I think that though being able to grind out those long drives paired with what our defense does, I think we're pretty hard to beat when that's firing on all cylinders.
On the right here, Aaron.
Steve, go back to the tight end unit as a whole.
Sure.
And when it's not popping on the stat sheet on a weekly basis, how do you qualify success with the group?
Well, number one, like the first thing that we cover every single day is we talk about mastering our role. And what each guy, and it's a very unique position because like it's all different types of players, tasked to do different types of things, but you have to be a master in your role so we can just win. So this offseason, I read Mountaintop. And my favorite, there's a lot of great parts about that book, but the story about Charles Woodson in a team meeting standing up and saying, like, that's all great, let's just win. So I kind of stole that from Charles. Just win. So that's what it's about, mastering our role so we can just win. So not to give you coach speak, that's the first thing we quantify our success on. But then, playing and contributing in the run game is so critical here, so critical. So it's almost like in some ways an offensive line mentality. Marlon Klein is as good of a pass protector, if not the best pass protector at tight end in college football. That's a huge part of it, being able to throw the ball down the field with 7-man protections. But then it is about contributing in the pass game because it's a production position. It really is. So, I don't know who it'll be this year. I'm sure it'll be a very good player. Whoever is the AP All-American tight end in college, College Football Writers Association, whatever it is, I bet he had a lot of catches, a lot of yards. I bet he was darn good, and that's great. And he deserves, whoever that young man is, I guarantee you will deserve it. So we train, how we quantify success is not something that is reactive to how a season goes. It's something that Coach Moore, Coach Lindsey, and then on a micro level, myself with my players, we've been building that since January. Winning games is what quantifies success around here. Being in November in a position with everything still in front of you is how we quantify and evaluate success.
And with Deacon and some of the Zach Marshall getting on, in the games and making plays, what do you think that says about the future of the tight end?
Future's bright, really bright, really bright. The now is bright, very bright.
Got time for 3 more questions before we bring in Coach Wink. We'll start with Angelique.
Steve, a lot of people have talked about Max Bredesen over the years.
Sure.
But how do you define his role?
He's the make it right guy. Whatever the most difficult job we would ask someone to do, that's who we ask to do it. He plays his own position. There's this, he is a fullback. There's this impression here that, we've had a fullback a lot. We have a fullback because we have Max Bredesen. Max Bredesen competes each and every week for playing time with the call sheet, with who we're playing, with how well he practices. Max Bredesen, we play Max Bredesen in the role that he's in because we have Max Bredesen. So yes, we play with a fullback. That's how we use Max. But he competes each and every day with the call sheet, with the other guys in the room at tight end, and then with the scoreboard too. Sometimes the nature of the game will change where maybe he doesn't get as many opportunities. That hasn't been the case. This is the most he's probably ever played in his career consistently on offense. Max Bredesen plays a lot because of how good he is. So what his role is, he helps us run the ball, he helps us protect the passer, and then does the most difficult tasks playing on the perimeter that we would ask somebody to do. Blocking on the perimeter, sealing the edge on a naked, whatever it may be. Max Bredesen can play in the pass game without a doubt. We've asked him to do that too. He's getting opportunities to play at tailback now, and that's not about because of what we don't have. It's because of what we do have in him. So he's one of a kind. He is, and he's somebody that you would never want this season to end because you want to coach that guy forever.
Do you think he has an NFL future?
100%, 1,000,000%. I know he does. I really do. Somebody asked me about Colston being ready a year ago in the NFL. It may have been you. And I said to you, if that guy can't play in the NFL or isn't ready to play in the NFL, I don't know who would be. I believe is what I said, some variation of that. I feel the same exact way about Max.
Tony?
You kind of just answered it, but I'll ask it anyway. Max in the run game, not just as a blocker. Is that a possibility for converting some of these?
For always a possibility. It's a great question, Tony. That's just not what I'm going to give you a straight answer to. Yes, always a possibility. You know, Max Bredesen's first career start as a high school quarterback, he ran for 250 yards as a ball carrier. He's got the capacity. We handed him the ball in 2022 against Rutgers. So yeah, he has the capacity and ability to carry the football. Absolutely.
And did you hear him say earlier this offseason that he'd almost rather not finish?
He's one of a kind. He's amazing. Yeah, I did hear that. And you know, there's truth to every joke. He takes great pride in the fact, in being selfless and team-oriented. And to piggyback what you asked me earlier, the reason the vibes are so high in the tight end room, and I can talk the way that, like, say that our players don't care about getting the ball. Of course they want the ball, but that it's not a point of contention. It's because the leader in the room is 44 and 17 and Marlon, and they don't. They're about winning games. And Max has played well over 1,000 snaps here and has touched the ball, I don't know, 9 times, 10 times, whatever the number may be, and doesn't care, and proud of it. So he's the best, one of a kind.
Last question, Clayton.
I know Bryce made the one mistake, but it seems like the RPO game has developed quite a bit throughout the season. What has made those runs effective and those passes effective?
Yeah, he puts stress on a defense. I really do. And I think what we've shown this year, and it's really been a collaborative effort of Coach Moore, Coach Lindsey is the one who always puts it all together and has great rhythm and feel for it. Coach Newsom, Coach Bell, Coach Alford, you know, everybody's had their shared experiences coaching the sport. I think it puts stress on the defense. It limits their ability to outnumber you or to play single coverage out on the perimeter, and I think we're doing it just the right amount, and we've got a quarterback and players that are really good at executing it right now. So I think it's been an added wrinkle that has served us well here down the stretch. Now, not every defense is going to allow you to do them. That's without a doubt. But Coach Lindsey, I mean, he's been outstanding in terms of what he's brought here to our offense, how he's led our staff, how he's led our players, how connected he has our group. He's been great, you know, and him and Coach Moore work great with one another. So it's really all of our growth is a credit to those two and our players and the assistants on offense. TA, Bell, Grant have done a phenomenal job.